Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. Friday the 13th, the game was released on May 26th of this year to rave reviews from gamers in spite of it being a completely broken mess at launch. So much so that at the time I refused to even purchase the game to review it, and the developers and publishers refused my request for review code, which, while there is nothing wrong with that, I had no desire to drop $40 on a title knowing full well that it was completely broken at the time. Game crashes, network disconnect errors, spawn glitches, in-game glitches, loadout bugs, database errors, and that was just on the PC version of the game. PlayStation users also faced their own litany of game bugs. So much so that I found it to be completely irresponsible of the publishers of the game to push it out the door in such a state. The sheer number of issues with the game rivaled that of even Batman Arkham Knight on PC or any Assassin's Creed game ever made. And yet, people still defend this game, sometimes viciously so. The reason being is that in spite of all of the game-breaking bugs, many of which still remain within the game even now, the game is fun. However, the developers who moderate the forums have made the prospect of even purchasing the game a daunting prospect at best due to their actions and their predilection for issuing permanent bans for online play at the drop of a hat. The difficulty with these multiplayer bans is that the game, even though it is being sold as a feature-complete product, still does not have the single-player component, which is slated to release sometime this summer, which leaves the players paying $40 for the online multiplayer aspect of the game with a giant IOU where the rest of the content is supposed to be. And if you receive a permanent ban that the developers seem willing to hand out like candy, then you have now paid $40 for a game that you cannot play, and if you have played more than 2 hours or have owned it for more than 14 days, you cannot return it. It is very much the epitome of the developers saying, thanks for the cash, now piss off. Which is exactly what happened to the Steam user who goes by Dilly Dingus. Dilly Dingus posted a Steam review stating the following: playing the game with no issues. Actually, one of the people who liked it. Got into a game with some girls who were protecting Jason because they were his friend. They kept team-killing people and being jerks. I called them out on it, and they got mad that I was calling them out on their crappy behavior. They threatened me by saying they knew the devs and would get me banned. I said, fine, I don't care, stop being assholes. The next morning, I woke up to a big fat permanent game ban. Nice to see how the devs handle their game's community. And the developers, catching wind of this review, did not seem willing to discuss the situation and instead decided to flat out accuse Dilly Dingus of sexually harassing a 12-year-old and other players during his supposed tirade. Now, for full transparency, Dilly Dingus did admit to calling the other players involved several names, and his behavior certainly is not above reproach. He lost his cool and let his temper get the better of him, even to the point of calling one of the players a whore. However, there has been no evidence to support the developer's wholly inappropriate suggestion that he was somehow sexually harassing a minor. The developer doubled down on this accusation by further stating the following: the two banned users are more than welcome to post the video of the incident. We have fully reviewed the game in high definition with audio from every single user involved and want to make it very, very clear that those two affected users who were banned were done so after clear evidence was made of breaking the rules. We will not show how our backend works, nor are we going to air dirty laundry publicly, as what these two did was beyond reasonable assumption of regular old in-game competitive shit-talking. The two users spoke at length some incredibly disturbing things that involved sexual harassment, including targeting a minor with said harassment. This activity continued for well over 8 minutes unabated and involved descriptions of multiple sexual acts with a minor and continued well past the game ended. Now, we can't and won't take action for actions that take place outside of the game, but it should very well be known that the harassment extended beyond our purview. Our only concern is what was done within the context of the game. The two that were targeted were by no means completely without fault, as their behavior did help fan the flames and they have been given a stern talking to. However, the actions taken by the two banned users are without cause and without justification. The ban will remain. If you want proof, the burden rests on the two who accuse us of impropriety. We stand by our actions and believe that anyone suggesting sexual harassment that includes a minor should absolutely be removed from the game. And given that response, you would think that the ban was completely and fully justified. Even from my own perspective, I would see that statement and wash my hands of the situation, thinking that this was just another person behaving extremely poorly and getting what they deserved. Except that isn't the case. What the developer just said in that statement was a lie. One that he even proved to be a lie himself via a posting on the Reddit forums in regards to the situation. In that, the Praetorian stated, I have never met those people that were harassed, and they are professional colleagues that I trust them due to their professional expertise. Not sure why you're sick that we banned 2 users to sexually harassing a child and other users, but hey, sorry I made you sick for that. So this developer has in fact lied and has stated that he has no verifiable evidence to prove any of the accusations that he himself is leveraging against a Steam user in an effort to discredit and defame them to justify his banning of them. Except that this also flies in the face of their updated bannable offenses that was posted after this incident occurs that states very clearly at the bottom, we need 100% verifiable evidence of these actions occurring. A video with usernames displayed and links to usernames is necessary for us to take action. A screenshot will suffice for exploits, however the best bet remains video. We cannot and will not take action without proof. Except that you do, Praetorian, and you have done so. And this is certainly not the first time the developers have banned a person sight unseen. These developers have even been reported as having issued in-game bans for something as simple as saying something on the Steam discussions that the developers decided they didn't like. Again, essentially blocking people from the only playable component that they paid their hard-earned money for in good faith. And this situation continues with one of the people that were in the game in question coming forward and stating the following. I was literally there and he didn't start throwing insults until he was getting attacked by other counselors to help a little shithead 12-year-old get kills. And after he told them to fuck off and called the player attacking him a whore, they said something along the lines of apologize and let Jason know where you are, or we're going to report you to the devs and we know them. And he responds with something like, go fuck yourself. It's been a couple of days. But that's a natural response to someone saying they know devs. And why should he have to leave a lobby? Because they want to be shitheads. As a result of this situation and others, the game's subreddit moderators are even beginning to abandon ship, citing that gun media employees are moderating the game's subreddit, which is a violation of Reddit's, quote, Reddicate. So what we have here is a case of a person who that, while yes, is not free of all guilt and should not have blown his top the way he did, he should not have been blocked from being able to play the game that he spent $40 on due to his reaction to the exceptionally poor behavior of the other players. The developers in turn violated their own standards and rules because it suited them and have in the process lied to their customers while doing so. These same developers that have already established a reputation for unwarranted game bans, discussion thread deletions, and forum bans if it suited their whims. What these developers should do is apologize to Dilly Dingus for their exceptionally unprofessional and hostile behavior, lift his ban, and offer both him and anyone else they have banned a refund. Because as it stands right now, each person that they have banned from online play since the game's release are unable to play the game at all, as there is as yet no single-player component to the game, merely an IOU, which is an exceptionally shady business practice to expect gamers to pay full price for a title not in early access and then hand them a promissory note where the game's content is supposed to be. Feel free to let me know what you think down in the comments below, and please do like and share this video. People deserve to know how these developers regard their customers. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.